Yeah. Did you not get it printed yesterday?
My grandma printed it, but I forgot to go to her.
Yeah. All right. So number 1, what you would do to figure out number 1, I would enter that first matrix that they gave you. That's a 4x4. So I would enter that matrix. I'm not going to copy the whole thing down for you, but I would enter that. You know that my marker quit right in midstream. Enter that like they gave it to you. And then go and find the inverse of that and just see if it equals the one they said it was supposed to. Everything has to be exactly like they said. So they're telling me that when I do this one and hit the inverse that I would get this one. So did you get the exact thing they said you would? Nope. So you would pick A. No. Okay? Everybody remember the inverse button? Remember how to put a matrix in? If we need to review over any of that, we can. Everybody all right? Okay, number 2 is one y'all would no doubt do in the matrix on the calculator. But I looked at it and it was pretty easy to solve by hand on number 2, so I'm going to go and do it by hand real quick. I hit, what did I get rid of?
Was number 1 yes or no?
No, it was no. I eliminated the y's because they were all 1s. So first thing I did was added the first 2 equations, so that got me 2x plus 6z is equal to 14. Then I added the second 2 equations, and that got me 3x plus 6z is equal to 12. Okay, so there's my 2 new equations, and now they're ready to eliminate the z's. So I subtracted, that got me negative x equals 2, which meant x was equal to negative 2. That was enough to tell me the answer. Because remember, those ordered triples go x, y, z, and there's only one of the choices that has a negative 2 in the x spot. So that's a case when I could actually probably do that a little faster than I could type it in the calculator. So I did that. But now when I got to number 3, I wasn't about clearing all those fractions out. So I did that in a matrix on the calculator. Okay, everybody remember how to do, we just write the setup for it or nothing? Or what do y'all need? What did y'all get for number 3?
So number 2 is D.
Mm-hmm. Caleb's correct. C for Caleb. Anybody need to see how to set that up in the calculator? Anybody need to practice that?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha, Mason. I got 1/3 x, a 1/6 y, and a negative 2/3 z. Then in the next row, I've got a negative 3/5 x, a negative 1/3 y, and a negative 1/5 z. Then I got a 1/2 x, a 3/2 y, and a 3/4 z. I'm going to take the inverse of that times the answers, which were negative 1, 3, and 13. Okay? Now, the dilemma on that is it takes a little while to put fractions in sometimes. So, you remember how to put fractions in there?
Yes.
Alpha, y equals, yeah. Okay. All right, what do you end up getting when you did that? Nobody got it? Or is that the one Caleb already said the answer for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, C as in Caleb, that's right.
Can you come show me how to put those fractions in?
You bet your boots I can, Miss Grace. All right, now hit alpha y equals and hit enter.
But then there's a 0 because that 0 won't matter.
I don't know, but I'm not real sure. Let's try and see what happens. 1 on 3. Move it over. Go back on and hit delete. Yeah, there we go. That's what I guess we'll have to do. That's weird that it does it like that, but good to know. Good to know. All right, 4. The C and D choices there, what that first period just didn't understand what C and D meant. When it says dependent, that means there are infinite many solutions. And when it says inconsistent, that means there's no solution. Okay, so that's what you're looking at on C and D on that. And there's several questions where it's like that. Okay, notice on the dependent one, they also write an equation there. So if they write the equation, that means infinite as well. Alright, so what I did when I solved number 4 is I multiplied the top equation by 4 to get 20x's. So I had 20x minus 8y equals 12. And the bottom one already had a negative 20x plus 8y equals negative 12. A lot of y'all can look at that and tell something's fishy, but I'm going to go ahead and add 20x and negative 20x is nothing. He gone. Negative 8y and 8y is nothing. He gone. So I have 0 equals, what's 12 plus negative 12? 0. So, true statement. So that means there's infinite many solutions, which meant it was the one that had dependent on it, which was C. Now, I think after I multiplied that top one to get a 20, I think I could have told that from here. Can't you tell those are the same equations? If I multiplied one by negative 1, it'd be the same as the other one. So, alright, some people were asking in first period, the directions on 5 say to use Kramer's rule. We didn't cover Kramer's rule. That was just my option on that. We learned how to solve by substitution, elimination, and a matrix on the calculator. So I figured 3 ways was enough, and we didn't cover Kramer's rule. So on number 5, you will just use one of the ways that we already know. Okay, I did elimination. I just left it like it was and eliminated the x's. So let me write that down. So I'm subtracting here to eliminate those x's, so it gives me 0 equals negative 3y minus 9, which then if I move the 3y would mean 3y equals negative 9, which would mean y is negative 3. I think I got a sign wrong. Yeah, that should be a positive 9. 2 minus negative 7 is positive 9. That's my bad. So that's a positive 3. Let me erase that. That looks bad. Okay. A lot of these are time savers. There's only one choice that has the y of a positive 3. So that'd be B as in Boomland on number 5.
So would you just put that in the, if you were to do it in the matrix, would you put it in the calculator?
No, you would have to. That's a good question, Grace, because a lot of people are going to want to know that. You would have to move the stuff over first. So I'd have to move this 5x over, which would make a negative 5 and a negative 4. And then a negative 5 and a negative 1. And then in my answer matrix, I had to move this stuff over. So that'd be a negative 2 and a positive 7. It's a good point by Grace for y'all on that one. Standard form. Got to put them in standard form. Alright, when you do 6, if you do that in the matrix in the calculator, there's several variables that are missing. So you got to remember to put zeros in those spots. Okay, if that's the method that you choose. I looked at it and I said, well, I could put, I can't remember, I'm looking at my notes to see what I did there. I think I put the first one and the last one together to get rid of the y's, because the middle one didn't have a y either. So then I could go together on that step. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 5. My marker will work. This thing's been a piece of junk lately. Multiply the first equation by 5. That got me 5x minus 5y plus 15z is equal to negative 5. And the last equation already has a 5y, so I'm just going to write in underneath it x plus 5y. I'm writing away and nothing's even happening. Let me go standing in the way.
What number is this?
I think it's 6, if I remember right. Yeah, 6. So it's the bottom equation. It's got x plus 5y plus z is equal to 5. Okay, so my 5y's are different signs, so I was adding here, so it's 6x plus 16z equals 0. Okay, now the second equation already is missing a y. So I put the second equation with that one. I chose to multiply the second one by 2 to get 6x's. So that would make 6x plus 2z is equal to 0. Subtracted. 6x minus 6x is nothing. 16z minus 2z is 14z. 0 minus 0 is 0 divided by 14. And z was 0. Remember, the order triple goes X, Y, Z. So there's only one of the choices that has a 0 in the Z spot. So it would have to be B, as in Boomland.
What is that?
There's a tourist attraction in Indiana. It's a joke. Okay, 7. I think it was Rachel and I yesterday that worked on 7 for so long. It's not hard, but I don't like the question.
I figured it out.
Yeah, because they mixed up all the stuff and then they started calling them different names, and I was like, was professional and expert supposed to be the same? How was I supposed to know that?
Went from normal to
Yep,
regular.
yep. So I struggled with that for a little bit, but first thing it tells me to set up a 3x3 matrix, and so I'm going to set a row with location 1, location 2, and location 3. And then it starts off by calling the lures discount, regular, and professional. So I'm going to make my columns be that. But they're going to change the names of those, and I didn't like, they shouldn't do that in my opinion. All right, location 1 sells 36 discounts, lures, 100 regulars, and 30 professionals. Okay, but now it starts jumbling you up. It says location 2 sells 20 discount lures, and location 3 sells 60. So you got to make sure you're getting them in the right spot, or your matrix won't match up. Daily sales of regular lures. Now the regular lures at location 2 are 120. No, 90. That's a 90 there, dummy. And then location 3 is 120. At location 2, there's 18 experts lures and 40 expert lures at location 3. Okay, so there's how your matrix would set up. Then from there it says, it gives us the prices. So we got to make a matrix for the prices in a 3x1. $3, $9, and $14. That one goes pretty easy. Okay, now what it asks for, you're not solving anything here. It tells you all it wants you to do is to find the matrix product. So that just means multiply. So you're not hitting your inverse button or anything. You're just multiplying them like they are. I did it faster than you.
I didn't like typing in anything.
Oh, you
Whenever I
went
did the chart, I went ahead and multiplied,
Mhm.
and then used the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, that would work, but it would take a little bit longer. All right, you should end up getting C. So put down C for that, but test it and make sure you can get it, because you got to be the one to do it on the calculator. Check in. Or, I was just talking about you, because I said this is the one me and Rachel were working on. All right, on 8, they gave you some information that you don't need. So you had to figure out what to do with what you had and what you needed and all that stuff. Are you ready? We good? All right, it tells us on 8 that Matt bought 3 pounds of oranges and 2 pounds of apples. So 3 pounds of oranges, I can't use an O, that'll look like 30. 3 pounds of oranges and 2 pounds of apples, and it cost him $3.90. But then Andy bought 4 pounds of oranges and 3 pounds of apples, and it cost him $5.47. So it wants us to use matrix to solve that and find out how much apples cost. Orange was my X, apples was my Y. So that's important when you get your answer to know which one you're looking for, because you could put the wrong one. So when you set this up in a matrix, they've already got matrix A set up correctly for you. They've got that already. Okay? Then what we do to that is take the inverse of that times 390 and 547. They told you what the inverse of that matrix is. But that's not, I don't need to know that, really. So I'm just going to do it like normal. This inverse that. And then I'm looking for the one in the Y spot, because that was what my apples were. So, everybody got that? Shouldn't take you long to do it. Okay, 81 cents. Caleb, C is correct. Alright, on number 9, and there's several like number 9 that asks you to tell how many solutions but don't actually solve. I solved. I just did it that way. But I did number 9 using substitution. We ready? So it's got, since y is x minus 2, I plugged that in the second equation. So instead of y plus 5, I wrote x minus 2 plus 5 is equal to x. So then that's 3. Now if I start trying to solve this, I've got x's that are going to cancel each other out. So I've just got 3 equals 0. Well, what's the deal when you get a false statement? Good, Mason? No solution. You get a false statement, something dumb, it's no solution. If you get something true, 7 equals 7, that would be infinite solutions. If you just get something that says x equals 10, that's one solution. Okay?
What would be
That's a true statement, like 3 equals 3. Alright, number 10. Do that. I think I could do that pretty fast by hand. The x's and the z's would both go pretty quick by hand. Do y'all want me to do it by hand real quick, or y'all want to try your calculator, or what do you want to do? Number 10. Okay. All right. Y'all got an answer? You working it? Okay. That's right. Okay, there you're okay. Just making sure I wasn't waiting for no reason. Good. Everybody over here's gotten D. We all right on number 10? Okay, 11 is like number 9 again. Wants us to how many solutions. What I did is I eliminated, so I multiplied the first equation by 2. So I've got 4x minus 2y equals 10, and then negative 4x plus 2y equals negative 18. Adding, because my signs are different, that's 0, that's negative 8. So we got a false statement. How many solutions are there?
None.
None.
There ain't one.
Nope. Alright, number 12, you had to remember how to do determinant in the calculator. Okay? If you don't remember how to do determinant in the calculator, grab it and we're going to go through the steps.
Stephens.
Number 12, yeah.
Yeah, it's Stephens.
Alright, to get determinants, you're going to hit second, and then the inverse button, the one that says x to negative 1. It says matrix right above it, so you're getting the matrix menu. You got that one, Mason? Then move it over to math at the top. When you move it over to math, the very first one that comes up says DET. That stands for determinant, so pick that. And then we got a 2x2 matrix to enter. So hit alpha zoom and go fill in your 2x2 matrix. Okay, baby. Oh, it's healthy. What'd you get, Mason? Okay, feel right. Let's just get out of that. So hit second matrix, move that over to math.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, and then pick that. And Now, alpha zoom, put a matrix in, the green one. Zoom. 2 by 2. Just change it. Okay. -4 was the number 12, so we're good on that. Okay, 13, you would do the same thing that we did on number 1. You're going to enter that 2 by 2 matrix. It's got a 10, a -1, a 1, and a 0. You're going to hit the inverse button, and you're looking to see if it gives you exactly what this one says. And everything has to be, after you get the inverse, to get a yes, these have to match exactly. Did they? Can I do number 13? Check it and see now. Do the inverse of that one and see if it gets you this one. Okay, good. Kaylee and Caleb got it. Is that it? Got it, Michael? Are you working on the one we're on now? Or are you just exploring? Clear that determinant off. You just want to go to matrix, so we do alpha zoom. Yep. And that's 2 by 2 still. Put those numbers in. Okay, now move the cursor. Now inverse is that one. In there. Shift. Yeah. Okay. Is this matrix the same as that one? For all the signs, so you can say no. So you just do the inverse of the first one and see if you get the second one. Okay, it was an 01, 13. Everybody's got there, so good job. 14. You want me to do that by hand, or are you doing it in your calculator? Calculator, John Wayne Hunter is already working. See, I don't even know what name to call him anymore, because last year I had to call him Hunter. This year he's John Wayne, so no Wayne Hunter Gibson.
Oh, what I call it.
I don't want to know what you call him. Caleb said 14 was D, and that's correct, so make sure you're able to get that. You know how to do that one, maybe? Okay.
I got it.
Yep. You did it by hand. All right, 15, determinant. We just worked on a determinant one a minute ago, so everybody will be able to do 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
The correct answer on 15 is B. If you need help remembering how to put that in the calculator, I'll be glad to help you.
Would you say it was B?
B, yep,
As in board.
yep. All right, 16. Tell how many solutions again. So I'm going to multiply the first equation by 2. So that'll get me 2x minus 4y is equal to 10. The second equation is 2x minus 4y is equal to 18. When I subtract, that's nothing, so I got 0 equals -8. It scared me when I was working this yesterday that all of them were no solutions that asked that, but they weren't, because Caleb said wrong. Alright, 17 says solve the system by graphing. We know how to do that, but I would not. They did give you a good graph paper to use, but your thing's on your computer, so that didn't really help you a whole lot there. You'll have it on paper on the test tomorrow, but I just did it by elimination. I subtracted them like they were and got rid of the y's. So when I did that, I got 2x minus 4x is -2x. 2y minus 2y is nothing. 20 minus 22 is -2. So divided by -2, and x had to be 1. And there was only one choice that had the x of 1. Which was another B. We've had several B's in a row, and we got a few more to come still. Alright, on 18, I would multiply the top one by 2. So get me negative 6x minus 6y equals 16. Bottom one already had 6's. Same sign, subtract. That's nothing. 0 equals 24. 0 equals 24. Caleb?
That's fine.
That's wrong. So that means number 18 would also be a no solution. We're on the last page. 2 mo. Alright, 19, there's lots of missing variables. So I want to make sure we can set that up right in your calculator, and then I'll let you do it. The first equation's got an x and a y and nothing in the z spot. So my first row, I'm going to have a 3x, a 2y, and a 0z. My second one, I got a 9x, a 0y, and a negative 3z. And then on my last one, I got a 0x, a 4y, and a negative 3z. You have to get those zeros in the right spot or it's not going to work for you. So that would be how you would set that up. Alright. Got a couple of you working on it. Let me know an answer when you get it. Anybody concur with Caleb yet? Y'all still working? Still working?
I couldn't.
I'm sure.
I get it there? B, Caleb. Alright, 19 was B, so that was the last of the B trains there that we have. I looked at 20 and I was like, holy cow. Did y'all look at it? They got 4 equations and 4 variables. So I'm for sure not going to do elimination when I got 4 equations with 4 variables. So set 20 up in a matrix, but it's a 4 by 4. So when you do alpha zoom, change it to a 4 by 4. Your first one, you got negative 3x, 1y, 4z, negative 1w, negative 1x, negative 3y, 1z, 4w, negative 3x, 4y, negative 3z, 1w, 4x, negative y should be a negative 1, dummy, negative 1, negative 1z, 4w, inverse of that, times 16, 7, negative 6, negative 16. I would like to try that at some point because I wonder how much paper it would take me to do that, but that's going to be a long problem if you do that by hand. What'd y'all get? It is A, so make sure to test it. Make sure you can get it now. I'll be able to push the buttons now.
Mike did it. That's
If
how
I could do it, y'all should be, all should be able to do it.
Did you do it by hand? Oscar's going to be really impressed.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, I did- I
But
did
I
it
chose
by
not to.
I did it by hand.
All right. Any problems or questions or calculator help that you need? All right. We'll take it tomorrow. Ready. Everybody be ready.
I already know I'm not going to finish this whole test tomorrow.